All right, Andy, let's talk calibrations. You and I are both in the calibration space. I think we're both pretty accustomed to the idea that calibrations are going to fail sometimes. What do you do about it when it does?
Well, you got to make sure you have some kind of troubleshooting SOP. You have to know what to do because calibrations are going to fail. You just have to know what steps to take to be able to fix that failure. So we have a flow chart. Okay. And we have 3 steps into that flow chart to take us through a failure in a calibration. Okay. The first thing in our flow chart is the environment. You want to validate that everything is correct around the car to be able to calibrate it correctly. Okay. That's validating the floor. If you haven't validated the floor in that area to make sure, we like to make sure it's within 10 millimeter difference. Also lighting, verifying that the lighting, the dimming, the lumens are correct, that there's no distraction around in the environment, metal distractions and so on. Okay. That's really huge for us. And then second is processes, and you're definitely familiar with processes.
Yeah, you know, I think when you start thinking about process, it's vehicle preparation in addition to that environment prep. It is the service information that you're referring back to. And making sure that those things are ready to go. And so the service information, make sure that you're looking at the current iteration of that service information. We all know they change all the time, right? So make sure that you're referring to that. Make sure that you're not transposing a number or dropping a number, and that you've got that, you know, information all correct. Vehicle preparation can look like a lot of different things. So it's about tire pressure, it's about fuel level and payload. It's also about making sure that you've got the vehicle electronically ready for a calibration. So are there any pending or historical DTCs that haven't been resolved as a result of either the accident or the repair process? Is the vehicle ready for a calibration? Because that should be the last thing in that process before you're ready to go test drive it.
That's a good point. And then lastly on our flow chart is validating sensors. We have it last because that's usually when you have to start taking things apart, right?
Sure.
That's where you might discover that the wrong sensor was installed, or there's a bent bracket, or there was a repair that maybe wasn't done that's affecting the calibration. Or, I mean, it's as simple as there's a certain amount of mils now that are on panels that will affect the calibration if there's too many mils of paint on the panel.
Sure.
And then there's a whole lot of other things with the windshields, right?
Right, absolutely. So, you know, we do a lot to provide service for customers that are doing calibration or recalibration after glass replacement. And one of the things that we run into quite often with the forward-facing camera has to do with the camera actually not being installed correctly in the bracket. And so we'll help to diagnose that, but ultimately you're listening for a really solid click or something along those lines to verify that camera is installed correctly. And it also helps just to go back and actually try and move the camera a bit after you think it's installed to see if it does. If it does, it's not installed correctly.
That's really good advice, and that really is the reason why you want to have some kind of SOP or flow chart to be able to go through these things, just to save time in general and to know you're hitting all those steps.
Absolutely.
If you found today's tip helpful, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. Comment below for any future suggestions.
These videos are made possible by SCRS. If you aren't currently a member, I encourage you to join. Visit scrs.com or use the link in the description below.